Imagine this. A cold evening falls over London. Outside Buckingham Palace, everything looks exactly as it always has. The guards stand perfectly still. The royal cars move through the gates. Tourists gather outside the palace walls. To the world, the British monarchy appears calm, stable, and unshaken. But history tells us something very different. Every great monarchy has faced one moment, a moment when the strength of the crown was no longer measured by its traditions, but by the health of the person wearing it. And when that moment arrives, power often begins to shift long before anyone officially admits it. Today, many people are asking whether Britain has reached one of those moments again. Recent public appearances by King Charles have sparked growing discussion. Some royal commentators believe the king appears more tired and physically weaker than before. Others argue that it is impossible to judge someone's medical condition from photographs alone. What we know for certain is this. King Charles has publicly confirmed that he is receiving treatment for cancer. He has continued carrying out royal duties whenever possible. Beyond that, very little has been officially revealed. And that silence has created one of the biggest debates surrounding the monarchy today. How much should the public know, after all? This is not simply the story of one man fighting an illness. The king is also the head of state. His health is not only a private matter, it also has constitutional importance throughout British history. Whenever a monarch became seriously ill, questions quickly followed. Who would take on more responsibility? Who would make the important decisions? And how would the institution prepare for the future? Those same questions are now being asked once again. Some independent journalists believe the palace is sharing too little information. Others argue that every patient deserves dignity, privacy, and respect. Both sides make valid points. Too much secrecy creates speculation. Too much disclosure risks turning a serious illness into a public spectacle. Finding the right balance has never been easy. But behind this debate, another story may already be unfolding. Some royal observers believe that Prince William has quietly begun taking on a much larger role inside the monarchy. No official announcement has been made. No dramatic ceremony has taken place. Yet many believe the balance of responsibility is slowly changing. Is this simply a natural evolution? Or is the monarchy quietly preparing for a future that may arrive sooner than anyone expected? At this stage, no one outside the royal household knows the full answer. Much of what is being discussed comes from media analysis, unnamed sources, and public observation, not official confirmation. But history has shown us something remarkable. The biggest changes inside a monarchy rarely begin with a public announcement. They begin behind palace walls, far away from television cameras, long before the rest of the world realizes what is happening. And if history is repeating itself once again, then what we are witnessing today may be far more significant than it first appears. Because in the next chapter, we explore why so many royal analysts believe Prince William's influence has been growing behind the scenes, and whether Britain's future king is already carrying more responsibility than the public has been told. History has a strange habit. The biggest turning points rarely begin with a public announcement. There are no dramatic speeches, no breaking news, no official declaration that everything has changed. Instead, the change begins quietly, one decision at a time, one responsibility at a time, one closed door at a time. And according to many royal analysts, that may be exactly what is happening inside Britain's royal family today. Officially, King Charles remains the monarch. He continues to carry out royal duties while receiving cancer treatment. The palace has never announced any plans for a regency or abdication. But behind that official picture, many commentators believe Prince William's role has been expanding faster than ever before, not because anyone has publicly handed him more power, but because circumstances may be demanding it. Several royal observers point to recent events as possible signs of that shift. Over the past months, Prince William has appeared more frequently at major national events. His public role has become increasingly visible. His decisions appear to carry growing influence. Whether that reflects a formal change or simply the natural responsibilities of the heir to the throne remains a matter of debate. One issue, however, has attracted particular attention: the controversy surrounding Prince Andrew. For years, questions surrounding Andrew's position within the royal family seemed to drag on without a clear resolution. Then, according to several royal commentators, momentum suddenly changed. Some analysts believe Prince William pushed for quicker action. Others disagree and argue that such decisions involve many senior advisors and cannot be credited to one individual alone. What is clear is that the discussion surrounding Andrew intensified, and many people began asking whether the future king was already becoming a stronger voice inside the institution. That raised an even bigger question. If William is playing a larger role today, how much influence will he have tomorrow? The relationship between King Charles and Prince William has also become the subject of growing media attention. Some reports describe occasional disagreements over how certain royal matters should be handled. Others insist that, despite different opinions, both men remain committed to protecting the monarchy. The truth is, no one outside the palace knows exactly what conversations take place behind closed doors. Much of what appears in newspapers comes from unnamed sources, briefings, and analysis, not official confirmation. Still, one fact cannot be ignored. Every generation of the British monarchy has faced a moment when experience met change. Queen Victoria faced it. King George VI faced it. Queen Elizabeth II prepared for it throughout her reign. Now, many believe King Charles and Prince William are facing their own version of that historic transition. Not through revolution, not through crisis, but through the slow and careful transfer of responsibility that often happens inside constitutional monarchies. If that is true, then Britain may already be witnessing the early stages of a new royal era, an era where the king remains on the throne, but the future king is becoming impossible to overlook. And yet, this story is about far more than King Charles and Prince William, because another royal conflict has continued to cast a long shadow over the palace, one that refuses to disappear, a conflict involving Prince Harry, one that has divided public opinion, captured headlines around the world, and, according to many royal commentators, may have deepened the challenges facing the monarchy itself. Was that conflict avoidable, or has it permanently changed the future of the royal family? The answers may be more surprising than anyone expected. Every royal family has its private disagreements, but every once in a while, a disagreement grows into something much bigger, something that no palace statement, no carefully written headline, and no public appearance can fully hide. For the House of Windsor. Many believe that moment began with Prince Harry. What started as tensions inside the family eventually became a global story. Interviews, books, television documentaries, public accusations, and years of headlines that placed the royal family under intense international scrutiny. The debate has never really ended. Instead, it has continued to raise one difficult question. Could this crisis have been handled differently? Some royal commentators believe King Charles has tried to keep the door open for reconciliation. Others argue that Prince William has taken a much firmer approach. Neither Buckingham Palace nor Kensington Palace has publicly confirmed how private discussions between father and son have unfolded. But many analysts believe their different leadership styles have become increasingly visible. King Charles is often described as someone who prefers patience and dialogue. Prince William, on the other hand, is frequently portrayed by royal commentators as more decisive and more willing to bring difficult issues to a clear conclusion. Whether that public perception is completely accurate remains impossible to verify. What is certain is that every decision involving Prince Harry now carries consequences far beyond one family. It affects the image of the monarchy itself, and that's why every meeting, every statement, and even every period of silence, is examined around the world. Another issue has also fueled the debate: the role of the British media. For decades, royal reporting has depended heavily on close relationships between palace officials and established news organizations. Supporters say this system helps ensure accurate reporting. Critics argue it sometimes limits difficult questions and encourages official narratives. In recent years, independent journalists and digital creators have challenged that system more than ever before. Some believe they are asking questions that traditional media avoids. Others warn that independent platforms can also spread speculation if claims are not carefully verified. The reality is that today's audience has access to more voices than at any other time in history. That makes separating confirmed facts from opinion more important than ever. So, what do we actually know? We know King Charles continues to receive cancer treatment. We know Prince William's public role has expanded. We know Prince Harry remains outside the working royal family. Beyond those facts, much of the conversation comes from analysis, unnamed sources, and competing interpretations. That doesn't mean the questions are unimportant. It simply means the answers are still unfolding. And while the world continues to focus on the divisions inside the royal family, another figure has been quietly stepping into a much larger role, a figure who rarely responds to controversy, who speaks far less than others, but whose influence may now be greater than ever before: the Princess of Wales. Because some royal observers believe that the future of the monarchy may not depend only on its next king, but also on its next queen. And in the final chapter, we'll explore why Catherine has become one of the most trusted members of the royal family, how Prince William and Catherine are shaping the monarchy's future, and whether Britain is already entering the next royal era without officially announcing it. History has always reminded us of one simple truth: no monarch rules forever. Every reign, no matter how successful or how difficult, eventually becomes part of history. The real question has never been whether change will come. It has always been how that change is managed. Today, that question surrounds the British monarchy once again. King Charles continues to carry out his constitutional duties while receiving cancer treatment. The palace has made no announcement about abdication. There has been no confirmation of a regency. Officially, the king remains firmly on the throne. But history teaches us that transitions inside great institutions often begin long before the public can see them. Sometimes, the first signs are not found in official statements. They appear in public appearances, in changing responsibilities, in the growing visibility of the next generation. And that brings us to Prince William and Catherine. Over the past few years, their role has steadily grown, whether attending major state ceremonies, representing the crown at important events, or becoming the public face of many royal initiatives. They have increasingly become the figures many people associate with the future of the monarchy. Catherine, Princess of Wales, has earned widespread public admiration for her calm, measured approach to royal life. Unlike many public figures, she rarely enters political debates. She speaks carefully. She avoids unnecessary controversy. And when she does speak, her message is often centered on family, community, mental health, and the importance of everyday life. Supporters believe this quiet style has strengthened public trust. Critics may have different opinions, but one fact is difficult to ignore: she has become one of the most recognized and respected members of the royal family. Together, William and Catherine increasingly represent the monarchy's next chapter, not because anyone has officially declared it, but because time itself keeps moving forward. Every generation eventually hands responsibility to the next. That has happened throughout British history, from Queen Victoria to King George VI to Queen Elizabeth II. And now, the world is watching another chapter unfold. Of course, many of the discussions surrounding the king's health, private family relationships, and internal palace decisions remain matters of media analysis rather than officially confirmed facts. Only those inside the royal household know the complete picture, but that has never stopped history from asking difficult questions. How does a centuries-old institution adapt to modern challenges? Can tradition survive in an age of social media, constant public scrutiny, and global opinion? Can one family continue carrying the weight of one of the world's oldest monarchies? Those questions remain unanswered. Perhaps they will not be answered this month, or even this year. History is rarely written overnight. It is written slowly, one decision, one generation, one moment at a time, and maybe years from now. People will look back on this period and say, this was the moment everything quietly began to change. Not with a coronation, not with an announcement, but with a series of small moments that, together, shaped the future of the British crown. Only time will reveal whether today's discussions become tomorrow's history. Until then, the story continues, and the world will be watching every step. If you enjoyed this documentary, don't forget to like the video, share it with others who follow the royal family, and subscribe to the channel for more in-depth royal documentaries and historical analysis. Your support helps us continue creating carefully researched stories that separate confirmed facts from public speculation and explore the history behind today's biggest royal headlines. Now, we'd love to hear from you. Do you believe King Charles will continue leading the monarchy for years to come? Or do you think Prince William is already becoming the true face of the crown's future? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next documentary. For centuries, the British monarchy has survived wars, political crises, family divisions, and moments that once seemed impossible to overcome. Every generation has believed it was witnessing the most important chapter in royal history. Yet, history has always had one final surprise waiting around the corner. And perhaps that is where we find ourselves today. The conversations surrounding King Charles, Prince William, Princess Catherine, Prince Harry, and the future of the royal family are still unfolding. Some questions have been answered, many more have not. That is why, here on this channel, we believe one thing above everything else. The truth deserves patience. In a world where headlines travel faster than facts, it is easy to believe every rumor. It is easy to accept every viral post as reality. But history teaches us something different. Real answers take time. Evidence matters, facts matter, and context matters even more. That is exactly why this channel exists. Our goal is not to tell you what to believe. Our goal is to present the facts that are publicly available, explain the history behind the headlines, separate confirmed information from speculation, and allow you to form your own opinion, because an informed viewer is far more powerful than a misled one. As the royal family enters another important chapter, we will continue following every major development, every official announcement, every significant royal event, and every story that shapes the future of the crown, whether the next chapter brings stability, unexpected change, or another historic turning point. You will find it here. So if you enjoy thoughtful royal documentaries, balanced analysis, and stories that go beyond the headlines, this is the right place for you. Join our growing community by subscribing to the channel. Give this documentary a like if you found it informative. Share it with friends and family who follow the royal family. And most importantly, tell us what you think. Your comments don't just start conversations. They help shape the topics we cover next. Thank you for spending your time with us. Until our next documentary, take care, stay curious, and remember, history never truly ends. It simply waits for its next chapter.